The individual in question recounted an unusual initial interaction with a man named Isaac. She described receiving a text from him inquiring if she had ever visited Arizona, which she found peculiar given her spontaneous decision to travel there. She resolved not to meet him unless she perceived it as a divine sign. Subsequently, she learned they shared a birthday, which she took as the sign she was looking for, leading to their meeting. Further coincidences emerged. Their brothers shared the same first names, Jacob and David. Their fathers were both Egyptian Jews from Cairo, and they were both vegetarians. She then connected his work with the Dead Sea, noting its 33% salt content, with Walt Disney's Club 33 and a theory about the location of Atlantis having coordinates related to the number 33. During a portion of the interview, when asked about accusations such as breaking into his home, she expressed a reluctance to discuss those matters, indicating a fear of losing his affection and referencing her mother's advice to pursue someone who truly deserves her, though she believed he did. She mentioned crying and praying and the idea of pretending he loved her. The narrative then shifted to her background, stating that Jacqueline Ades was born in late 1986 and was reportedly raised in a privileged environment in Florida. Her father, a retired insurance executive, indicated she was used to a certain lifestyle and dated men of similar standing. However, she had become distant from her parents, who frequently tried to contact her. Her focus shifted towards finding a partner, and she actively posted on social media, trying to connect with like-minded individuals and find her healing angel. She joined a dating app known for its wealthy and attractive members, where she encountered the man she became fixated on, a CEO and founder of a skincare company whose family had immigrated from Israel. The speaker then transitioned to an anecdote about the CEO's brother, an ice cream truck driver, lamenting the unexpected path of the family's future doctor. The narrative returned to Jacqueline and Mr. Ben Shabbat, noting their initial online connection that led to a date around January 2017. While Jacqueline apparently felt the date was successful, Mr. Ben Shabbat chose not to pursue a second one. Despite his lack of response, she continued to send him numerous text messages, reportedly up to 500 daily. 6 months later, in July 2017, he contacted the police, reporting that he saw Jacqueline in a vehicle outside his residence and mentioning the many unanswered texts. When officers arrived, she was present and was instructed to leave, but no charges were filed. According to Mr. Ben Shabbat, this incident marked an escalation in her behavior. 5 months later, in December 2017, police received another call about her presence in the area, but they were unable to locate her, and no further action was taken. In April 2018, Mr. Ben Shabbat called police a third time from outside the country, stating he had viewed home surveillance footage showing Jacqueline inside his house unlawfully. Upon arrival, officers found Jacqueline taking a bath, and a large kitchen knife was discovered in her car. She was arrested for first-degree criminal trespass, jailed, and subsequently released on felony conditions after her initial court appearance. The process of initial hearings in felony cases in the U.S. was briefly explained, outlining the informing of rights, arranging legal counsel if needed, and deciding on pretrial release or bail conditions. It was noted that in Jacqueline's case, she was released but failed to appear for later court dates, leading to a bench warrant for her arrest in late April 2018. Shortly after, at the end of April, Mr. Ben Shabbat contacted a detective to report receiving multiple threatening text messages and claimed she had sent approximately 159,000 texts over 10 months, many containing threats, including death threats. Screenshots of messages from mid-April were provided to the police, and a complaint was filed in early May. Later that week, police were called to a business in Scottsdale, Arizona, after reports of Jacqueline acting erratically and claiming to be the owner's wife. Police identified the owner as Mr. Ben Shabbat and issued a trespass order against her. The following week, Mr. Ben Shabbat informed the detective about the incident at his workplace, and the existing arrest warrant was expedited. Jacqueline Ades seemed like an ordinary woman with a flair for the spiritual and the mystical, but her name became nationally known after she was arrested for stalking, threatening, and harassing a man she had briefly dated. What started as a single date quickly spiraled into a bizarre, high-profile case that raised questions about obsession, mental health, and the blurred line between love and delusion. Ades met the man identified publicly as Isaac through an online dating site. She believed they shared something cosmic: the same birthday similar family dynamics, a vegetarian lifestyle, and deep spiritual connections. For her, these were not coincidences but signs. Signs that he was the one. After just one date, Ades became fixated. When Isaac pulled away, she began sending messages, thousands of them. Over time, the number grew to what police estimated as over 65,000 texts, many of which became disturbing. Some expressed unconditional love. Others included threats of violence and references to dismemberment and spiritual judgment. She would later claim she sent them out of love, describing it as a process of discovery, selfless love, that, in her mind, justified her actions. Eventually, Ades was arrested after entering Isaac's home while he was out of town. When police arrived, they found her taking a bath. She was charged and held in custody without bail. During her intake, staff noted indications of mental illness, yet 2 days later, she was allowed to speak with the media in a now infamous jailhouse interview. In the interview, Ades spoke candidly and cryptically. She detailed her spiritual journey to Arizona, which began with waking up at 3:33 a.m. regularly and being told by a psychic that she shared a birth chart with a significant person. This led her to believe that the number 33 had divine meaning. It was Jesus' age. It appeared in her zip code, and it tied to ancient spiritual theories like Atlantis and even Disney's mysterious Club 33. These signs led her to Isaac. She described meeting him while seeking her healing angel, and after a brief connection, she was convinced they were destined. Even though he didn't reciprocate, she clung to every perceived sign and connection, interpreting each as confirmation of their spiritual bond. When pressed about the charges, she declined to comment on the break-in or threats. When asked about the sheer volume of messages, she said they were part of a spiritual process, love expressed without expectation, an attempt to uncover universal truths. She also denied being crazy, instead claiming she had discovered the equation of light, referencing Einstein's E=mc² and proposing her own version involving masculine and feminine energy. She believed women should worship men and men should lead. The conversation drifted into conspiracy theories. She claimed zero was a belief system created by the Illuminati and that the dollar bill symbolism proved a new world order based on control. She asserted everyone is essentially Jewish through imagination and that money enslaves humanity. Despite the alarming nature of her texts and the charges she faced, Ades insisted she wasn't dangerous. She said if the man she loved wanted her in jail, then she belonged there, because she trusted him as the light to her love. She maintained that she would leave him alone if he truly asked, although she admitted he already had. She described their first date as transformative and felt he had been monitoring her since, something she saw as proof of his hidden affection. When asked about allegedly forcing herself on him or being told to leave his home, she brushed it off as part of a spiritual test. She explained that after he blocked her on WhatsApp, she felt compelled to travel to Arizona, believing he was still communicating with her through secret messages and a fake number. One such message, referencing a prayer and a doctor, she believed could only have come from him. She denied ever carrying a butcher knife, saying she only had small knives for self-defense on her road trip. She said she wasn't trying to harm anyone, only to reconnect with the man she believed she was destined to be with. 6 months after the interview, in late 2018, Ades was offered a plea deal: immediate release, 10 years of probation, and a restraining order. She refused, convinced the offer was a test and that a jury would see her side and even rule that she and Isaac should be married. But her legal team soon requested a mental competency evaluation. In March 2019, she was declared mentally incompetent to stand trial by most of the professionals who examined her. One evaluator believed she could be restored to competence, so she was placed in a state-run restoration program for up to 21 months. By March 2020, it was determined that she remained mentally incompetent and was unlikely to be restored. The charges against her were dismissed. Her lawyer stated that justice had been served and expressed hope that she would now receive proper treatment. She was transferred to a behavioral health facility and later relocated to Florida for continued care. In the end, Jacqueline Ades wasn't convicted but was deemed mentally unfit for trial and placed in treatment. Despite everything, she still clung to the belief in eternal love, even as her mother urged her to let go.